Shalom Israel, Shalom, Shalom. Brother Benjamin Young back for another video. Of course, I want to give a praise to Yahweh by Shimon Mashiach Komnak Yahushai. Yahweh who the world ignorant calls God, and Yahweh Shai who the world ignorant calls Jesus Christ. Right? Shalom to all the church tribes. Right? Do not doing the work in his last days. Magnify the name of the Lord. Right? Praying, fasting, studying, making videos, going on the habits of Bibles, congregating his brothers and sisters, right? Righteous brothers and sisters, keeping the high holy days, the new moons, the feast days, right? Checking on one another, right? Calling on a brother, texting a brother, doing all that you could do to magnify the name of Yahweh Bashem Yoshai, right? And you cannot just be doing these things just because you want the kingdom of heaven. Not saying that you that's not the reason, but you're supposed to be love doing these things. You're supposed to be love praying, love to fast, love to study, love to go into the word, text a brother, check on a brother, right? Congregate your brother. You're supposed to love doing righteousness. It's supposed to be in you, the spirit of doing it, love to do it. It's not just because you want the kingdom or you want 7 wives or whatever and ever. But yes, that's another reason for doing it. But the main thing is that you make sure you examine yourself, like you're just not doing it just to do it, right? You have to love doing these things, righteousness, right? So first, let's go to the book of Matthew, right? So the title of this video for the spirit, it says, "The heathens will pay for what they have done to the Lord chosen people," right? The heathens will pay for what they have done to the Lord's chosen people, right? Which is so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native American, men, women, and children till this day, right? We are God's chosen people, right? Let's go for the precepts, right? For the spirit and power of the Habashim Yahusha, right? So first, let's go to the book. Let's go to the book of Matthew, chapter 26 and verse 52, right? This is the book of Matthew, chapter 26. So I can wait for a second. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 26 and verse 52. And it reads this. Then Jesus, then Jesus said unto, then said Jesus unto him, Put up again thy sword into his place, for all they that take the sword shall perish with the sword. And read that again. Matthew chapter 26 and verse 52. Then said Jesus unto him, Put up again thy sword into his place, for all they that take the sword shall die by the sword. Right? So like right, you say all they that take the sword, right? For all they that take the sword shall die by the sword, right? So who has the sword? Who the blessing is given to, right? It's like for the background Moses, right? The so-called white man, Esau, right? That's his blessing. Let's get that. Let's go to the book of Genesis chapter 27. So like Genesis 27 and 40. Let's get that real quick. Right, so like we're back. All praise to Yahweh, Bashim, Mashaf, Makasha. Right? That's Satan trying to take away the word. Right? So first, let's go back. I'm gonna go back to from the beginning, Slovakia. Right, we weren't too far into it. Right, Matthew chapter 26 and verse 52. And it reads this. Then said Jesus unto him, Put up again thy sword into his place, for all they that take the sword shall die by shall perish by the sword. Right. So who was that blessing gave unto Esau? Right, the so-called white race today. Right. So let's get that. Let's go to Genesis. Right, let's go back to Genesis chapter 47, 27 and 40. So like, right, this is the book of Genesis chapter 27 and verse 40. And by thy sword shall thou live. That's Esau, the so-called white people, right? That's how they live, right? Because without that sword, they can't really do nothing, right? Because what the Most High, why Yahushua gave them that blessing, right? That's why they go and conquer nations, right? They always create war, right? They always stealing, and they always go into other nations, countries, territories to take land, right? Kill them and take them, right? That's what they do. That's what, that's the blessing. The so-called white men, the military, right? The NYPD, all the systems they have set up, that's the blessing for the sword, right? And they are good with the sword, hunting, right? Going to war, right? Because that's a blessing that was given to them, the so-called white race, right? So-called white race, Esau, that the Bible, that the Bible speaks of, right? Which are the so-called white race, the Edomites, right? And by the sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother, with thy brother Jacob, right? And it shall come to pass, that means it's going to happen, when thou shalt have dominion, thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck, right? And it says, here goes the point. It says, verse 41, and Esau hated Jacob, right? So Esau always hated Jacob, right? That's their brothers, right? Esau and Jacob, of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him, right? And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob, right? So you see how that's how much hatred that Esau has for Jacob, right? That's for white people, right? That's how much hatred they have for us. When he wanted to slay his brother, right? That's wicked, right? So that's basically talks about. So that's the point. It talks about Esau. The point I want to bring on is that Esau, that's Esau's blessing, the so-called white people, that gun, right? All the guns they have, all the military devices they have, right? All this stuff they have, that the sword, that's a blessing. That's why they are good at using it, right? So let's go to the book. Let's go to Genesis chapter 9, verse 6. Right? Right? This is the book of Genesis chapter 9 and verse 6. Whoso sheddeth man's blood, by man shall his blood be shed. For in the image of God made he man. Right? So the Most High say, any nation that sheds man's blood, right? By man shall his blood be shed. Right? So didn't the so-called white people hang us? They killed us, right? They hang us from trees, right? They skin us alive, right? They put a knee on our neck, right? They shoot us in the back 9 times or more, right? Right? We're taking our wallet out, we're taking our phone out, they're shooting us straight in our head, right? Didn't the so-called white people, chiefly the so-called white people, right, shed our blood, right? So the Lord said, Genesis chapter 9, verse 6, whoso sheddeth man's blood, by men shall his blood be shed, right? That's put upon tables, right? So when we're going to shed the so-called white people blood and the other nations, right? For Mashiach Yahushua, right? That's what we want to do, right? When the Lord will give us that power, right? Because what the Lord said, vengeance is mine, right? So we're gonna wait on Yahweh Bashim Yahushua to give us that power, that strength, right? Okay, but that power to take Esau down, right? To slay him down, right? Because whatever you do, he's gonna get it back onto him, right? All this stuff, all the murders that they have done to us, and they are still doing till this day, right? They getting away with it, right? They found they not not guilty, right? All these things that they are doing, the Most High will not forget that. Yahweh Shem Shai does not forget, right? He's gonna make us remember, and He Himself remembers, right? Right? Because don't think that they're gonna escape, right? Don't think everything that they have done, the Most High has forgotten about it. No, right? The Most High is gonna pay them back when that time comes, right? Let me read that again. Genesis chapter 9 verse 6. Whosoever, so like whoso sheddeth man's blood, by a man shall his blood be shed, for in the image of God made he man. Right? So they're gonna get what they did to our people, so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, right? Especially our Native Americans. Did they murder the Native Americans? Millions upon millions, right? They stole this land, right? So they're gonna be paying for all that what they have done and what they are still doing to this day, and especially in other nations, right? Moab, Ham, all what they have done to us, right? Ishmael, right? Right? Amalek, they're gonna pay for what they have done to us, right? The children of Jacob, right? Let's go to the book of Revelation. Let's get the classic. Revelation chapter 13 and verse 9. Slovakia. Revelation chapter 13 and verse 9, and there is this. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. What the Lord say? He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. Slovakia. Right? He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. What is that? What captivity goes into? Slavery, right? Bondage, being a slave, right? You're just working non-stop and you're not getting paid, right? So the Lord said, He that leadeth in captivity, right? Whichever group of nation, right, leads another group of nation or a group of people into slavery, they're gonna go into slavery. So that means the so-called white people will be going to slavery. Amalek, Moab, Ham, right? Ishmael, right? All the other nations, right? They're going to go into slavery. That says the Lord, that says the Holy Bible. But chiefly, the so-called white people, they're going to get the serious one, right? I'm going to read that again. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. The Lord said it might. The Lord didn't say might or maybe, or he doesn't know, he's not sure. He said, He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity, shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword, right? And who's that talking about? Especially chiefly the so-called white men, right? The so-called white men, the Edomites, Edom, like we read in Matthew chapter 26, right? And verse 52, Genesis chapter 27 and verse 40, and Genesis chapter 9 and verse 6, right? He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. The Lord didn't say might or maybe, must be killed with the sword, right? So did they slay their brother Jacob with the sword, right? Don't they shoot us down on the streets like dogs and cats, like animals, like we're nothing, yet we're better than them, right? Right? Don't they treat us like animals, like we're below everything, right? They shoot us in the back, they kill us, they stab us, they rape us, they murder us, they hang us, right? On trees, all these things, like I said, they're gonna pay for it, right? That's what the Lord said, right? And you can't be mad or saying, "Oh, why you saying that?" Or let God do the judging. No, hey, that's what the Lord said, right? We're not gonna add it to the word. We're not gonna sugarcoat it, right? Well, why you saying that? God change and God say forget the past and move on. No, the Lord never say move on. The Lord say remember, oh Lord, the children of Edom. Paraphrasing, right? Remember what Edom have done, right? Remember, right? He that cleave with the sword must be cleave the sword. Here is the patience and faith of the saints, right? And what are the saints? The so-called Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans, right? Here is the patience and faith of all the saints, those who are patiently waiting for that day, right? Those that are serving the Most High, right? Praying to Yahweh Shema Shai, doing all, serving the Most High, keeping the laws and commandments. Those are the faith. It's like those are the saints of the Most High, and they are waiting patiently with faith, right? Because what the Lord will give us that power to do that when He comes back, right? That's why we're patiently waiting for that day, because what we know is it will happen, it will come to pass, right? it will come to pass. Right? Let's go to let's go to Isaiah chapter 41. Right? There's the book of Isaiah chapter 41. So like in verse 11. It's the book of Isaiah chapter 41 verse 11. Behold, all they that would incense against thee shall be ashamed and confounded. Thee shall be as nothing, and they that strive with thee shall perish. Right? So the Lord said, behold, all they that incense against thee shall be ashamed and confounded. Right? All those that went against the children of Israel. Right? The Lord's chosen people, the apple of his eye. Right? God's favorite people. Right? All those that go against us, that do us everything, all hateful stuff. Right? Within Esau, the other nations, all the other nations, they're going to be paying for what they have done to us. Right? All this they making us work hard, right? Slavery on the cotton fields, on the sugarcane fields, right? On the tobacco fields, all these things. The most I didn't forget about that. I don't know if anybody told you, but Yahweh, Shema Mashiach Kumlak Yahushai, have not forgotten about all what the heathens have done to his chosen people, right? And they're gonna pay for it, and they will pay for it, and all praise to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, right? They're gonna be ashamed and they're gonna be confounded, right? There's the destruction and the destruction and so like and pain that the Habashimesha is going to bring upon them. They're not going to believe it, right? For all what they have done to God's chosen people, right? You have to pay. You will pay for it, right? Don't think the Lord will swipe it away. No, right? Don't think the Lord not watching. He's watching, right? Just get another precept. Let's go to the book of Exodus. All right, so like Exodus chapter 23. So like Exodus chapter 23, verse 22. He says, but if thou indeed obey his voice and do all that I speak, then I will be an enemy unto thy enemies and an adversary unto thy adversaries. Right? So that's how the Lord is going to bring more destruction upon this heathen, upon these heathens, right? As especially as we live in the last days, right? We have to do our part also by returning to the Lord, by not giving up, fighting this evil spirit. Because what? You're going to go for it in the flesh. You will go for it. You're going to fall short, right? But the point is that are you going to get back up? Or are you just going to stay in your ways and keep falling down, right? Are you going to rise back up and fight that fight and endure to the end, right? Endure what people tell you, right? Your worldly families, all these people, right? Don't worry about what they say, but keep your eyes on the prize, which is Yahweh Bashim Yahusha, right? So they'll say if we obey his voice, he's going to be an enemy unto our enemies, right? And who is that talking about? Chiefly the so-called white men, the other nations, right? The Lord's going to be an enemy unto them, but we got to obey his voice and keeping the laws and commandments of Yahweh Bashim Yahusha, right? The laws and commandments of the Most High. Right? That's how you show you love the Most High. That's how you show you love your brother. Right? By striving for perfection, doing what's right in these last days. Right? And I'll be an enemy to our enemies and an adversary to the adversaries. Right? That's what the Lord said. Right? So you gotta believe in that. But we gotta return to the Lord as Hebrew Israelites, so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native American men, women, child, so that the Lord would continue to bring this place down even faster. Right? By praying, studying, making videos, going to get hanging out with righteous brothers, all these things you're supposed to be love doing and keep on doing it until you give up the goals, so like only until you have washing and shall return. Right? Then another precept. Let's go to Galatians chapter 6. So like Galatians chapter 6 and verse 9. It says, and let us not be weary in well doing, for in due season we shall reap if we fail not. Right? So Lord said in due season we shall reap if we fail not. Right? But we're gonna take these other nations, take them and put them in slavery if we fail not. Don't be weary. right? But let us not be weary in well doing, for in due season we shall reap if we faint not. Right? We're gonna have slaves, right? All that we're gonna reap dominion over these other nations, ruling over these other nations, these heathens, right? In righteousness, enter into the kingdom of Yahweh Hashem Shai. But the only way if we do that, we get this all this power, right? Is if we faint not, or if we come out to His voice, right? Which is the law, sign, commandments of Yahweh Hashem Shai, right? Another precept for the spirit. Let's go to the classic. Psalm chapter 149. Psalm chapter 149 and verse 5. For the Lord, so okay, let the saints be joyful in glory. Let them sing aloud upon the beds. Right? Who are the saints of the Most High? Right? So-called Black, Hispanic, Native Americans, the Israelites, in Psalm chapter 50 and verse 5. Right? Let the saints be joyful in glory. Let them sing aloud on the beds. Let the high praise of God be in their mouth, and a two-edged sword in their hand. Right? And a two-edged sword in their hand. Right? It's not a spiritual sword. It's going to be a physical sword. That's physical. Right? And a two-edged sword in their hand. So that's what the saints of the Most High is going to be having. So what are we going to do with that sword? The saints of the Most High, those that come out to His voice, those that come out and faint not, right? To execute vengeance upon the heathen. To do what? To execute vengeance upon the heathen and punishments upon the people. To bind the kings with chains and the nobles with fetters of iron. To execute upon them the judgment written. This honor have all the saints. Praise Ye the Lord. Right? That's the vengeance that the Most High is going to bring upon the heathen through His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shah. Right? That's what and He's going to the Yahweh Bashim is going to use us. Right? He's going to give us. He's going to put that anger in us, right, to destroy the other nations, right, to dash their babies into pieces. The same way they do it unto us, we're going to do it unto them. Right? Whatever you reap, you shall reap. Whatever you reap, you're going to sow. Oh, right? Right. Or the other way around, so that right? So we're gonna bind them kings with chains and the nobles of feathers of iron, right? All these top guys in the houses, the elites, right? All these other nations, right? That rule the nations in charge, that rule governors, right? The government. We're gonna bind the kings with chains and the nobles with feathers of iron. And that's the execute. We're gonna execute upon them the judgment written, because that's what the Lord say. It's gonna happen for the power and spirit of Yahweh Shah. Right? Let's get another precept. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 2. In the book of Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 2. And the people, so I can start from verse 1. Isaiah 14 verse 1. For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel. So that means no matter what, He's still going to choose us, right? No matter what. And set them in their own land, and the strangers, which are the other nations, right? The heathens, right? The so-called white people, so-called Chinese, so-called Japanese, so-called Indians, East Indians, right? Amalek, right? So-called the Jewish men, right? All of them are the strangers. So it says, and the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. What do you want to cleave unto us? Right? They want to be bending, bowing down, right? Respecting, right? In these last days, right? They're going to cleave unto the house of Jacob, right? Which are the chosen people, right? Verse 2, it says, and the people shall take them and bring them to their place. So we're going to take them and bring them into our land, right? And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids. Right? So they're gonna be serving us in the kingdom of Yahweh Bashim Yahshua. We're not gonna be serving, it's gonna be the other way around, the way it's supposed to be from the beginning. Right? They're gonna be serving us for servants and handmaids in the kingdom of the Most High. Right? And it will come. Because the Lord has spoken it, and you gotta believe in that. Right? For servants and handmaids, and they shall take them captives whose captives they were. Right? So we're gonna take because the same way they had us in captivity, they're gonna go into captivity. They're gonna be our captives. Right? We're gonna put them in chains, put that yoke on iron up on their neck. They're gonna be working in the cotton field, right, till they drop dead, till the sun goes down, until the sun comes back up, whatever, right? And no stopping, right? And we're gonna give them double according to the spirit and power of Yahweh, by Shema Mashiach Yahushua, right? Whose captives they were, and they shall rule over the oppressors, right? So we're gonna rule over our oppressors, right? And who's our oppressors? Chiefly the so-called white people, right? We're gonna be ruling over our oppressors when that day come, right? But the only way you gotta do that, you gotta endure to the end, right? You gotta endure to the end, keep the faith, keep walking in that light, keep walking in striving for perfection in these last days, endure to the end, and stay strong in the spirit and power of Yahweh Shah. Right? Let's go to the book of Jeremiah, chapter 30, and verse 16. Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 16. Therefore all they that devour thee shall be devoured, and all thy adversary, every one of them shall go into captivity. No, some of them, every one of them shall go into captivity, and they shall spoil thee, and they that spoil thee shall be spoiled, and all they that prey upon thee will I give for prey. Right? So the Lord said every one of them. So what you call from the eldest to the youngest, baby, grandmother, grandfather, the Lord don't care about age. Right? Because the same way we pay for our forefathers' sins, the children right now, because they're living off the benefits of their forefathers, right? What the forefathers did to our forefathers, our ancestors, right? So they benefiting of it. So the Most High is going to take the vengeance upon the Esau's children today, right? Right? So the children are going to pay for what the forefathers have done. That's why I said every one of them shall go into captivity. So it's not one that's going to be escaping from the judgment of the Most High, right? And with that, also like I want to get one more first. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 14, verse 21. Right? I'm gonna close out with that. Right? Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 21. Prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise, nor possess land, nor fill the face of the holy cities. And so the Lord said, prepare slaughter for his children. And whose children? The children of Esau, Edom. Prepare slaughter for his children, right? For the iniquities of their fathers, for what their forefathers did to us, right? Our ancestors or our forefathers, right? And what they are still doing today, right? So they gotta pay for their forefathers' sin. So you can say, "Oh, I didn't do it. Oh, I was not there in that time." Hey, the Lord don't care about none of that. The Lord said, "Prepare slaughter for His children for the iniquities of their fathers." Right? So with that, I want to give up praise to Yahweh. So like I want to get one more first praise. So like one more first praise. So like let's go Obadiah. Let's get the classics. Obadiah chapter 1 and verse 18. He says, "And the house, right? And the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for a stumble, and they shall kindle in them and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for the Lord has spoken it." Hmm? So the Lord has spoken it. So it will none remain in the house of Esau. And that's a beautiful thing. That's a mighty thing to hear, right? Brings joy to the heart, right? There will be none remaining chiefly underneath the house of Esau, right? The wicked, right? So most are willing, I want to select, I want to give all praise to Yahweh by Shema Mashiach Kumlak Yahushai. Once again, Yahweh, who the world ignorant calls God. Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorant calls God. Most I in this video was edifying for the spirit, right? The heathens will pay for what they have done to the Lord's chosen people, right? So like I couldn't share my screen, most I will there was a mighty video, mighty presence for the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shai. Most I will not be back for another video. Usually continue to pray, fast, study, right? Come, hang around righteous brothers, right? Stay away from worldly families, right? Stop doing worldly things, right? Continue to fight this evil spirit day by day, right? Because every month falls short, right? Nobody has obtained the crown yet, right? Continue to endure. Yes, it will fall short in his flesh, but the point is getting back up, right? And that's the whole point. It's not how you started, it's how you finish, right? Continue to keep the faith, check on brothers, continue to congregate, go out on the highways and byways, right? Continue to pray for more mercy and pray to the Yahweh Bashim Shai to take away not the Holy Spirit from you and your other brethren around you that do the work of the Most High in these last days. And continue to pray for the nation, the brothers' families, your family, and continue to stay strong in the strength and power of Yahweh Bashim Shai. And once again, I want to give all praise to Yahweh Bashim Mashak Shai, Brother Benjamin Youngwolf, Kum Yashala, Shalom.